You are watching The Story. Every Monday, we bring you a deep dive into the fascinating lives of incredible people. From fire eater to billionaire, the incredible story of Guy Laliberte, founder of Cirque du Soleil. Welcome to Alux.com, the place where future billionaires come to get inspired. If you're not subscribed yet, you're missing out. Hello Aluxers and welcome back. You most likely have heard of the international sensation of Cirque du Soleil, but how familiar are you with the man behind its success? Today we're looking at the story of a man who started out his career working as a street performer and went on to become one of the most successful entrepreneurs of all time. Guy Laliberté is the perfect example of when preparation meets opportunity. So today we're taking a look at the incredible story of how he went from fire eater to the billionaire founder of Cirque du Soleil. But first, some background. Who is Guy Laliberté? Guy Laliberté is a French-Canadian from Quebec who's primarily known for founding Cirque du Soleil, but he holds a number of other titles as well, including businessman, poker player, investor, and a musician. His company started as a one-year project, but is now the largest theatrical production in the world. Laliberté has been able to brilliantly intertwine his creativity and his business sense in order to achieve this success. His net worth once topped $2.5 billion, but today it sits somewhere around $1.1 billion. He's also known for his philanthropic efforts, most notably his One Drop Foundation, which is focused on providing permanent, safe water sources for communities in need. He also spent $35 million in 2009 for a 12-day trip into space, becoming Canada's first space tourist, and he says it was worth every penny. We know you must be wondering, how does a street performer become the founder and CEO of one of the most successful entertainment companies in history? Well, for that story, we have to go back to the start. Beginnings. Guy was inspired the first time his mother took him to the circus when he was a child, but as a young man, he never dreamed about running off to the circus or being a star performer. To him, performance was a means to an end. He wanted to travel the world. Disinterested in traditional schooling, Guy dropped out when he was 15 years old and decided he would do anything it took for him to be able to travel and explore new places. He grabbed his father's accordion and began to play on the street with a hat set out to collect money. Before too long, he had earned enough money for a plane ticket to London, England. Once he was there, he had no place to go but the streets. His first night in London, he slept on a park bench, but the other street performers soon embraced him. He quickly fell in love with performing and learning a number of other skills from the other performers, including fire breathing, juggling, walking on stilts, and performing magic. The vision. From the time he was little, Guy's primary vision has been to see the world through any means necessary. He has a passion for exploring new cultures and making exciting discoveries. His goal was to never be rich and famous. He only wanted to see everything the world had to offer. When Guy realized that his love of performing could actually help him achieve this dream of traveling, he dedicated himself fully to his craft and seized opportunities without hesitation. But that doesn't mean he didn't face challenges along the way. The struggle. After a couple of years participating in traveling shows with several other street performers, it became painfully clear he wouldn't be able to support himself abroad, so he returned home to Quebec at the age of 19 to reluctantly seek out steady employment. He took a position at a hydroelectric power plant, but lost his job 3 days later when the plant workers went on strike. Guy was now broke and unemployed, but he took his firing as a sign from God he was meant to pursue his passion of performing. Guy soon linked up with several other Quebec performers who decided to form their own troupe. A tremendous opportunity arose in 1984 with the 450th anniversary of the discovery of Canada. The government was offering grants to groups who could stage cultural events as a part of the celebration. One of the members of the troupe, Gilles Saint-Croix, walked 56 miles on stilts as a publicity stunt to try and secure one of the grants. And the plan worked. The group suddenly had $1.5 million in funding in order to stage a province-wide tour over the course of a year. As one of the leading members of the group, Laliberté decided the tour would be called Le Grand Tour de Cirque du Soleil. But Cirque almost never made it off the ground, as Laliberté faced setback after setback, including his big top tent collapsing right before the first performance due to a storm. He also had to deal with disgruntled performers who were so unhappy they sent a letter to the media with complaints of how they were being treated. Guy later stated that everything that could go wrong did go wrong, but thankfully he never gave up on his new passion project. The win. Their show was so well received that Guy decided to continue with Cirque du Soleil after the initial year-long project was over. He approached the government and asked for a second year of funding, which was granted. It was then that Guy began to transform the troupe from a haphazard group of performers to what he called a proper circus with a cohesive performance. And he completely revolutionized and modernized the concept of a circus in the process. His circus would have no animals or rings and would have plenty of emphasis on storytelling with emotional music in the background. His goal was to draw the audience into the performance in a way that no circus had ever done. Despite creating a show that audiences loved, the group continued to struggle financially. The Canadian government offered funding for one more year, but then they were on their own. In 1987, after the group became privately owned once again, Cirque du Soleil was invited to perform at the Los Angeles Arts Festival. It was a huge opportunity for Laliberté and his performers, but it was also a huge risk. Guy knew the key to the group's success would be gaining popularity in America, but there was only enough money to fund a one-way trip. If the show failed, he wouldn't even have enough gas money to get his performers back home, much less their equipment. But after weighing the stakes, he decided to take the gamble, and thankfully for him, it paid off. The show in LA was a huge success, leading to $2 million worth of contracts and a 3-year tour through North America and England. Build up. Cirque du Soleil has only grown in popularity since its first international tour. In 1992, Laliberté was presented with another huge opportunity when Steve Wynn offered Cirque a contract for a permanent residency at the Treasure Island Hotel in Las Vegas. In negotiating the contract, Guy's business sense kicked into hyperdrive. He demanded full creative control, flat out refused to give up any equity of his company, and declined to sign an exclusive deal. All of these moves would prove to be crucial to Guy's success. Cirque's first permanent show, Mystère, was introduced in Vegas in 1993 and sold out every performance in its first year. And it still remains one of 7 permanent Cirque shows that continue to be seen in Vegas. Under Laliberté's leadership, Cirque grew rapidly over the next 10 years, performing 19 shows in over 270 cities across the world. Yearly ticket sales now approach $1 billion. In 2000, Guy bought out his partner's stake and took 95% ownership of the company. Since 1984, he's played a critical role in producing every single Cirque show. However, in 2015, Guy announced he was selling all but 10% of his stake in the company to an American-Chinese conglomerate for $1.5 billion. His explanation was he didn't want his children to feel like they had to take over his passion, but instead to feel free to pursue their own interests. Guy recently turned his focus to a new passion project, an ultra-modern multimedia company called Lune Rouge Entertainment. The lesson. Although Guy's journey from street performer to billionaire is very unique, there are several lessons that can be applied to all paths towards success. One of the most paramount is it is absolutely necessary to take risks. Without escaping the safety and familiarity of your comfort zone, it's unlikely your growth will occur. Guy has said he loves the thrill of risk-taking, but his risks are always very calculated. He says you should never let fear hold you back, but you should always measure the stakes. For further inspiration on how you can use the power of creativity in whatever career path you're taking, check out The Spark, a book written by the former president of creative content of Cirque du Soleil, Lynn Heward. Lynn shares with some fascinating behind-the-scenes stories from his experience at Cirque du Soleil, along with some guidelines and pointers to help people ignite their creativity and harness its power to unlock success. And if you'd like to listen to this inspirational book without parting with any money, head to Alux.com/freebook and sign up so you can get the audiobook version for free, thanks to our partnership with Audible. The quote. While researching his story, we came across this insightful quote from Guy we'd like to share with you, and it goes like this: "What is the goal of doing what we do? Of course we want to be successful, but what about being able to please and help people at the same time? What about being happy?" With this quote, Guy reminds us that we need to have a greater purpose in mind when pursuing success. The most successful entrepreneurs not only want to become financially successful, but also want to make an impact. And you also can't forget to prioritize your own happiness as well. At the end of the day, what's the point of being successful if you're not happy? Question. Now that we've taken a bit of a look at Laliberté's fascinating journey, we're wondering, do you think Laliberté made the right decision by selling most of his Cirque stake when he did? Let us know what you think in the comments. And of course, for watching with us until the end, what does that mean? You get a bonus. Here it is. Guy also loves to participate in the high-stakes world of professional poker, and every card player knows you win some, you lose some. Well, Guy has lost a lot. Between 2006 and 2012, he lost over $31 million playing online poker. He also had one of the biggest losing hands of all time live when he lost $818,000 when his pair of aces lost to two pair. Thank you for spending some time with us, Aluxers. Make sure to like and subscribe so you never miss another video. We also handpicked these videos, which we recommend you watch next. You can talk to us on all social medias or ask a question on our website, Alux.com. Thank you for being an Aluxer, and we'll see you back tomorrow.